In the heart of the ancient city of Jerusalem lived a man of unwavering faith, David. Amidst the hustle and bustle of the city, with its labyrinthine streets and towering walls, David was a beacon of humility and piety. His faith was as steadfast as the aged stones of the city, his connection to God as deep and unbroken as the roots of the oldest olive tree. By day, David was like any other man, tending to his duties and navigating the challenges of life. But as night fell and the city quieted, a profound transformation took place. The veil of the mundane lifted, and David found himself in the sacred realm of communion with God. This was his time, his sanctuary of solace, his refuge of rest. David's faith was not an abstract concept, nor a mere ritualistic practice. It was a living, breathing entity, a constant companion that walked with him through the trials and tribulations of life. His faith was his fortress, his shield, his guiding light in the darkest of nights. And it was in these quiet moments, under the star-studded canopy of the night, that David felt the comforting presence of God most acutely. As he prepared for sleep each evening, David would open his heart in prayer. He sought guidance for the path ahead, protection from the storms that life may bring, and the wisdom to navigate them. His prayers were not pleas of desperation, but expressions of trust, affirmations of his unwavering belief in God's providence. And so, with his heart filled with trust, his spirit bathed in peace, David would lay down to sleep. He knew with every fiber of his being that he was under God's watchful eyes. He was not alone. He was never alone. Even in the stillness of the night, even in the silence of his slumber, he was in the care of the divine. With a heart full of trust and a spirit of peace, he laid down to sleep, knowing he was in God's care. David, the man of faith, was a testament to the power of belief, the strength of trust, and the tranquility that comes from knowing that we are always, always under God's watchful eyes. One evening, as David drifted into his sleep, he found himself in a vast meadow bathed in the soft glow of moonlight. The air was filled with the sweet scent of lilies, a soft breeze rustling through the tall grasses, creating a symphony of tranquility. The gentle gurgle of a nearby stream added to this euphony, signifying the unending flow of God's love and mercy. In this dream, David felt an overwhelming sense of peace. The worries of the day seemed to melt away as he stood in the midst of this divine landscape. It was as if he had stepped into a sanctuary, a holy place where he could commune with God in silence, away from the bustle of the world. As he walked through this dream meadow, he could feel the soft earth beneath his feet, the cool grass tickling his ankles. Above him, a sky full of stars seemed to watch over him, each one a silent testament to God's grandeur and omnipresence. It was in this moment that David realized he was not alone. He was under the watchful eyes of the Almighty, the greatest shepherd of all, and then in the distance he saw a figure. A shepherd tending to his flock under the starlit sky. The shepherd's presence was comforting, his demeanor calm and composed. Each move he made was measured and purposeful, reflecting an unwavering trust in God's plan. David watched as the shepherd guided his sheep with gentle authority, protecting them from harm and leading them to greener pastures. It was a tangible representation of God's watchful eyes, a reminder of his constant presence and protection. David felt a deep sense of calm wash over him. The shepherd's actions mirrored God's love for his children, his desire to guide us through life's challenges, and his promise to always be there, watching over us. As David wandered through the meadow, he felt a sense of tranquility wash over him, knowing that he was cradled in the arms of divine love. The dream meadow was a testament to God's love, a reminder that even in sleep we are under his watchful eyes, protected and loved. In another dream, David found himself on a stormy sea, tossed about by fierce winds and crashing waves. In the vast expanse of the dream world, David's peaceful meadow was replaced by an ominous, storm-ridden sea. The tranquility of the shepherd's presence was a distant memory as David found himself in a small boat, adrift, and at the mercy of the tempestuous sea. The sky was a deep, foreboding grey, and the water around him churned violently. Thunder roared overhead, echoing the turmoil in David's heart. Fear, that age-old adversary, began to take hold, threatening to pull him under with its icy grip. Yet in the midst of the storm, amidst the chaos and the fear, a voice pierced through the howling wind. It was a voice David knew well, a voice that had guided him through the darkest valleys and the highest peaks. "Be still "And know that I am God," it whispered, a beacon of hope in the stormy sea. This voice, this divine comforter, was not new to David. It was the same voice that had guided him as a shepherd boy, the same voice that had led him to victory over Goliath, the same voice that had comforted him in his darkest hours. David's heart, so recently gripped by fear, began to calm. He remembered the psalm he had written, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me." These words, penned in a moment of profound faith, were now his lifeline in the midst of the storm. The waves continued to crash around him, the winds still howled, but David was no longer afraid. He knew that the same God who had led him through the meadow, who had guided him as a shepherd and who had comforted him in times of sorrow, was with him now in the storm. With those words echoing in his soul, David found peace amidst the chaos, trusting in God's unwavering presence even in the midst of life's storms. This dream, this stormy sea, served as a reminder that even in our darkest moments, even when we feel lost and alone, we are never beyond the reach of God's watchful eyes. Awakening from his dreams, David felt a renewed sense of faith and assurance. The visions that danced in his mind's eye during the quiet hours of the night were not just mere illusions. They were divine revelations, guiding him towards a deeper understanding of the divine presence in his life. The meadow, bathed in the ethereal glow of the moon, had spoken to him of God's love, a love so profound that it enveloped him in a comforting embrace, reminding him that he was never alone. The shepherd, steadfast and vigilant, mirrored the unwavering watchfulness of God, a testament to his ceaseless protection. The turbulent sea was not just a symbol of life's adversities, but a testament to God's strength and sovereignty. Amidst the roaring waves and the fierce winds, he heard a voice, "Be still and know that I am God." This divine assurance echoed within him, a beacon of hope amidst the chaos. It reminded him that even when life felt like a stormy sea, God was there, guiding him, protecting him, and providing him with an unwavering sense of peace and assurance. Every dream, every vision served to bolster David's faith. They were gentle reminders that he was never alone, that he was under the watchful eyes of a loving God. These dreams were not just figments of his imagination, but spiritual experiences that fortified his faith and instilled in him a sense of peace and assurance that transcended the trials of the physical world. These divine revelations awakened in David a new sense of purpose and direction. He understood that his journey was not solitary, but one that was guided and protected by God. Each challenge, each adversity was an opportunity for him to lean on God, to seek his guidance and to rest in his love. With a heart filled with gratitude and trust, he embraced each day with courage and hope, knowing that he was never alone on his journey. His faith was not shaken by the storms of life, but rather it was strengthened. His assurance was not based on the absence of challenges, but on the presence of a loving God who watched over him, guided him, and provided him with rest and peace. As dawn broke over Jerusalem, David stood at his window, gazing out at the world with a newfound sense of peace and serenity. He had journeyed through dreams of tranquil meadows and stormy seas, finding solace and strength in the midst of it all. It was not the calm of the meadow or the turmoil of the sea that brought him peace, but the steadfast presence of God. David had come to understand a profound truth. True rest, he realized, was not the absence of trials, but the presence of God's love and protection. The challenges and trials of life were inevitable. They were part of the human experience. But in the midst of these trials, God was always present, always watching, always guiding. Just as the shepherd in his dream had watched over his flock, so too was God watching over him. In the quiet of the night and the bustle of the day, in the calm and in the storm, God was there. His love and protection were constant, unchanging, a beacon of hope in the midst of life's uncertainties. David's heart was filled with gratitude as he reflected on this truth. The trials he faced no longer seemed insurmountable. Instead, they were opportunities to lean into God's love, to trust in his guidance, and to find rest in his presence. In the midst of life's challenges, David found true rest. Not a rest that comes from the absence of trials, but a rest that comes from the presence of God's love and protection. His faith was not a shield that kept trials at bay, but a rock on which he could stand when the waves of life threatened to overwhelm him. David's story is a testament to the power of faith, the power of trust, and the power of God's love. It is an invitation to each of us to seek true rest in the midst of our own trials, to trust in God's love and protection, and to find peace in His presence. In that moment, he understood that true rest comes not from the absence of trials, but from the presence of God's love and protection that surrounds us always. Join us on this journey of faith and rest as we explore the timeless wisdom of Scripture. The story of David, the humble man of faith from Jerusalem, serves as a beacon of light for us all, guiding us through the tumultuous seas of life towards the serene meadow of God's love and protection. David's dreams, filled with lilies and shepherds, stormy seas and divine reassurances, remind us of the comforting presence of God even amidst life's greatest challenges. David's story is not just a tale from the past, but a testament to the enduring power of faith and trust in God's watchful eyes. It's an invitation for each one of us to surrender our fears, our worries, and our anxieties to God, and to find rest in His loving embrace. It's a call to silence the noise of the world, to still our hearts, and to listen to the whisper of God saying, "Be still and know that I am God." Sleeping peacefully under God's watchful eyes is about more than physical rest. It's about spiritual tranquility, emotional calm, and mental stillness. It's about letting go and letting God, knowing that He is in control, that He sees, He knows, and He cares. It's about laying down our burdens at His feet and waking up refreshed, renewed, and filled with His peace. As we embark on this journey of faith and rest, may we draw lessons from David's story, learning to trust in God's watchful eyes, to find peace in His presence, and to sleep peacefully under His protective gaze. May we emulate David's unwavering faith, his deep connection to God, and his courageous spirit. And as we journey, let's remember that true rest is not the absence of trials, but the presence of God's love and protection. Let's remember that we are never alone, that God's watchful eyes are always upon us, guiding us, protecting us, and leading us towards His perfect peace. May our journey of faith and rest lead us to the tranquil meadows and calm seas of God's love and protection. May we all find the peace that comes from sleeping peacefully under God's watchful eyes. Amen.